I'm going to walk you through something that's going to save you thousands of dollars and years of frustration. Right now, 83% of residential lawnmowers sold in big box stores won't make it past 5 years. That's not an exaggeration. That's data from repair shops across the country. And here's what really gets me: the manufacturers know this. They've engineered these machines to hit a price point on the shelf, not to last in your garage. They've replaced metal with plastic, sealed transmissions so you can't service them, and designed entire product lines around the idea that you'll be back in 3 years buying another one. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. There are exactly 3 lawnmower brands that will outlast everything else on the market. And one of them, the third one I'm covering today, routinely runs for 30 years with basic maintenance, while the expensive machines from the brands you've heard of are junked after season 6. Stay locked. And because I'm not just revealing which brands actually last, I'm also exposing the red flags that tell you a mower is designed to fail. And if you're about to drop money on lawn equipment, this video will either validate your choice or save you from a massive mistake. Let's start with Honda, and I need to be clear right up front. I'm talking about actual Honda mowers, not the engines they sell to other manufacturers. Honda has been building small engines since 1953, and they brought that same obsessive engineering philosophy to their mower division when they entered the US market in 1984. What makes Honda mowers different comes down to 3 core design choices that other manufacturers abandoned decades ago to cut costs. First, their engines use overhead cam design with real valve trains, not the flathead side valve garbage you find in 90% of residential mowers. This means better fuel efficiency, cooler running temperatures, and valves that don't burn out after 200 hours. Second, every Honda mower uses a twin blade system called microcut that doesn't just mulch better, it reduces stress on the engine and deck because the cutting load is distributed. Third, and this is huge, Honda uses hydrostatic transmissions on their self-propelled models instead of belt drive systems. Belts wear out, stretch, and slip. Hydrostatic transmissions from Honda can run for decades. I've personally seen Honda mowers from the 1990s still running on the original transmission fluid. The proof is everywhere once you start looking. Go into any professional landscaping operation and ask what they use for trim mowing or small properties. Half of them will point to a Honda residential mower that's been running 6 days a week for 8 years. Talk to small engine mechanics and they'll tell you the same thing. Hondas come in for maintenance, not repair. You'll replace the blade and change the oil, but you won't be rebuilding the carburetor every spring or replacing the deck because it rusted through. Now here's the honest drawback. Honda mowers are expensive. You're looking at $600 to $1,000 for a quality self-propelled model when you can get a big box special for $249. And Honda doesn't play the discount game. You won't find them on sale at the end of the season. You pay full price because they know the product backs it up. So who is Honda for? You're the homeowner who mows your own lawn. You understand that paying more now means paying once, and you're willing to invest in equipment that you'll still be using when your kids are in high school. You maintain your stuff, you change the oil, and you want a mower that starts every single time without drama. But if you think Honda is the end of the story, you need to hear about brand number 2. And this one dominates the commercial space for a reason. Toro commercial mowers, and I need to make that distinction clear. I'm not talking about Toro's residential junk they sell at Home Depot. I'm talking about their commercial line, the Toro Time Master, the Toro commercial push mowers, and especially their zero-turn commercial machines. Toro has been manufacturing turf equipment since 1914, and their commercial division operates under completely different standards than their residential products. Here's why Toro commercial equipment lasts. They use Kawasaki or Kohler commercial grade engines, not the Briggs & Stratton residential engines that dominate the consumer market. These commercial engines have cast iron cylinder sleeves, pressurized lubrication systems, and RPM governors that actually protect the engine from damage. The decks on Toro commercial mowers are 11 gauge steel or heavier. For context, most residential mowers use 14 or 16 gauge steel that warps and rusts in 3 years. Toro's 11 gauge decks are welded, not stamped, which means they can handle impacts, from rocks and roots that would crack a residential deck. The wheel bearings are sealed and greasable. The spindles that hold the blades are commercial grade with replaceable bearings. Everything is designed to be serviced, not replaced. I've talked to golf course superintendents who run Toro equipment 8 hours a day, 300 days a year, and they expect 10 years minimum from a machine before major overhaul. Landscape companies buy used Toro commercial mowers with 1,000 hours already on them and run them for another 1,000 without concern. The reason you don't hear about this from casual homeowners is because most people never see these machines. They're sold through dealer networks, not big box stores, and they cost real money. A Toro Time Master will run you around $1,000. A commercial walk behind starts at $1,500. A zero-turn commercial rig starts at $5,000 and goes up from there. But here's what you're buying: a machine that runs for 2 decades. The drawback beyond price is that these mowers are heavier and less maneuverable than residential models. They're built for durability, not convenience. If you've got a small yard with tight corners and flower beds everywhere, a 60-pound commercial walk behind might be overkill. So who is Toro Commercial for? You've got an acre or more, you mow weekly during the season, you're tired of replacing mowers every 3 years, and you're ready to buy something that your kids will inherit. You appreciate equipment that's rebuildable, and you understand that commercial grade means it's designed for business use, where downtime costs money. Now here's where it gets interesting, because the third brand on this list outlasts both Honda and Toro, costs less than you'd think, and almost nobody outside of professional circles knows about them. Skag. If you've never heard of Skag, you're not alone. They don't advertise on TV, they don't sell at Home Depot, and they don't sponsor sports teams. Skag builds zero-turn mowers, stand-on mowers, and walk-behind mowers exclusively for the commercial and professional market, and they've been doing it since 1983. Skag is owned by Metalcraft of Mayville, a Wisconsin-based manufacturer that's been building metal products since 1963, and that manufacturing pedigree shows in every machine. Here's what makes Skag different. Every Skag mower uses a welded tubular steel frame, not a stamped deck. The frame on a Skag zero-turn is 2-inch tubular steel with cross members and gussets like you'd see on a roll cage. This isn't a mower deck that happens to have a frame. This is a frame that happens to have cutting blades attached. The cutting decks themselves are 7-gauge steel, which is thicker than most trailer floors. Skag uses commercial Kawasaki engines as standard equipment, the same engines that Toro charges extra for. The hydrostatic transmissions on Skag mowers are made by either Hydro Gear or Parker, the two best names in the industry, and they're oversized for the application. Where other manufacturers put a transmission rated for the machine's weight, Skag puts a transmission rated for 50% more. This is why you see Skag mowers in the rental fleet at equipment rental companies. They put these machines through absolute hell, renting them to people who don't maintain them, don't clean them, and run them harder than they should, and Skag mowers survive it. I know a landscape contractor in Tennessee who bought a used Skag zero-turn with 800 hours on it back in 2006. That machine now has over 4,200 hours and it's still his primary mower. He's replaced belts, blades, and done routine maintenance. But the frame, engine, and transmission are original. The drawback with Skag is dealer availability. They only sell through authorized dealers, and in some rural areas, you might have to drive an hour to find one. They also don't make small residential-sized machines. The smallest Skag is still a serious piece of equipment designed for commercial work. And yes, they're expensive. A Skag zero-turn starts around $6,000. But here's the value proposition. That $6,000 Skag will outlast 3 $2,000 residential zero-turns. And at the end of 15 years, the Skag will still have resale value while the residential mowers are scrap metal. Who is Skag for? You're serious about your property. You've got 2 acres or more. You mow your own lawn because you enjoy it or because it saves you money, and you want the same equipment the professionals use. You understand that commercial grade isn't just marketing. It's a different category of machine. Now, before we wrap this up, you need to know what to avoid, because understanding why these 3 brands last means understanding what makes other brands fail early. Here's what to watch for. If a mower is sold exclusively at a big box store, and it's a brand you recognize from other products, it was built to a price point, not a quality standard. These store-exclusive models use cheaper components across the board. Plastic wheels instead of metal hubs, thinner decks, residential-grade engines with no oil filter, and transmissions that can't be serviced. Second red flag. If the warranty is 1 year or less and it doesn't cover commercial use, the manufacturer knows it won't last. Honda offers 3 years. Toro Commercial offers 2 years. Skag offers 3 years. And all of them cover some level of commercial use because they trust the product. Third warning sign: if you can't find replacement parts easily, or if the manufacturer discontinues models every 2 years, they're not building for longevity. The brands I've covered today have parts availability going back decades because they know their customers keep machines that long. And here's the biggest tell: if the mower has features you don't need, like electric start and a push mower or LED headlights or a cup holder, you're paying for gimmicks instead of durability. Those features are there to justify the price and distract you from the fact that the core components are cheap. If you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who wants to buy once and buy right. And that puts you ahead of 90% of buyers out there who make decisions based on monthly payment plans and sale prices. Any of these 3 brands, Honda, Toro Commercial, or Skag, will still be running strong when the cheap mowers are rusting in a landfill. You'll spend more up front, but you'll never waste another weekend diagnosing why your mower won't start or hauling another dead machine to the curb. And there you have it. The only 3 lawnmower brands worth your money if you want equipment that actually lasts. Buy any of these and you're done. No replacing it every few years, no wasted weekends at the repair shop. No regret when you see your neighbor struggling with their 3rd mower in 5 years while yours fires up on the first pull every spring. Remember, the brands to avoid are the ones designed to fail, the ones with 1-year warranties and plastic transmissions and parts that aren't available 3 years after purchase. Hit like if this video just saved you from making a $1,000 mistake. Subscribe because I've got more equipment reviews coming that'll save you even more money. And comment below which brand you're going with, or tell me what you've been running and how long it's lasted. I read every single comment. And if you want to know the maintenance secrets that make even these bulletproof machines last even longer, check out my video on essential mower maintenance that actually matters. Not the stuff the manual tells you to do that wastes your time. I'll see you in the next one.